For business, my name is Daryl Kwao. The National Food and Buffer Stock Company has taken over 13 warehouses and commenced rehabilitation of 12 others in a bid to address post-harvest losses. The rehabilitation project, carried out by Savannah Zone Agricultural Productivity Improvement Program, is expected to cost $1.4 million. During a recent tour of the facility in the Upper East region, CEO of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab, said the additional warehouse capacity will provide ready storage for anticipated bumper harvest from the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative.
The tour was to do a validation of 13 facilities, which included 9 warehouses and 4 pack houses handed down by the Northern Rural Growth Program. It was also to inspect 12 warehouses marked for rehabilitation. The first point of call was a 2,000 metric ton warehouse facility in Zuarungu, marked for rehabilitation. Chief Executive Officer of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan Wahab, tells Joy Business the purpose for the validation and rehabilitation is to help address post-harvest losses.
Because of the increasing production under the Planting for Food and Jobs, we are foreseeing that we are not able to have the adequate storage facility to be very difficult. Another problem that we'll be facing as a result of bumper harvest from the Planting for Food and Jobs will be storage. And ultimately, what we are supposed to do is to reduce post-harvest loss, but not to increase post-harvest loss.
Rehabilitation of the 12 warehouses is being undertaken by the Savannah Zone Agricultural Productivity Improvement Program, SAPIP. Lead engineer for the rehabilitation projects, Bloomfield Atipo, says about $1.4 million is being earmarked for the rehabilitation works.
The project is funding the rehabilitation of the warehouses in collaboration with NAFCO. And we've earmarked 12 warehouses for rehabilitation, spread through the Upper East, Upper West, Volta region and Eastern region. What's happened is that we are interested also in converting some of the pack houses into seed centers under the same SAPIP project by a different component of SAPIP. Okay, but for the warehouses, each one of them we are looking at is 2,000 metric tons. So for the 12, that's 24,000.
In Pualungu, 1,000 metric ton pack house was handed over to the National Food and Buffer Stock Company.
Palugu district, there's a lot of water here and a lot of people produce a lot of fruits and vegetables. So that actually made us to site this facility here so that can motivate people to produce more and also get the private sector to come on board to buy from the farmers, store it here, pre-cool it here and export it to the south or even abroad.
Other warehouses that were validated was a 1,000 metric ton facility in Bulsa South to support rice farmers and an 80 metric ton facility in Navrongo. For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklu.
The country's total debt stock witnessed another significant increase in just 2 months, ending November 2018 at 172.9 billion cedis. Data released by the Bank of Ghana showed that it went up by 3 billion cedis from September to November 2018. George Afe has more details on this and how the other sectors of the economy fared, according to the Bank of Ghana.
The 173 billion Ghana cedis debt stock, according to the Bank of Ghana, is about 58% of the total value of the economy, which is believed to be about 300 billion Ghana cedis. For some economists, it is clear that the country is gradually moving away from that tag where it could be classified as high risk when it comes to settling its debts on time. The breakdown of the debt shows that 86.3 billion Ghana cedis were secured from outside the country, whilst 86.5 billion cedis were from local borrowings. On the banking sector, the data revealed some interesting developments. While the total percentage of loans that the banks fear would go bad was declining, credit to the private sector was going down, a development that could be described as not so good for the growth of businesses. On the economy, our earnings from export was also going up. It stood at $14.1 billion ending December 2018, while our import bill was going down, resulting in us making a savings of $2 billion when it comes to our balance of payments. The Bank of Ghana's dollar reserves ending December last year stood at a little over $7 billion. The central bank put the cedi's depreciation against the dollar for this year at a little over 2%.
Elsewhere, Nissan has said it is cooperating with an inquiry by U.S. regulators following reports that the car maker is being investigated over executive pay disclosures. On Monday, U.S. media reported the Securities and Exchange Commission had launched a probe into Nissan. There's more in this report. The car maker did not give further details about the inquiry. The probe comes as the firm's former chairman, Carlos Ghosn, faces charges of financial misconduct in Japan. U.S. media reported the Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating whether Nissan maintained adequate controls to prevent improper payments. The Japanese carmaker has accused Mr. Ghosn of financial misconduct. Last month, it said an internal investigation had found Mr. Ghosn received improper payments totaling $8.9 million from a joint venture between the carmaker and Mitsubishi. The 64-year-old was first arrested on 19th November and remains in detention in Tokyo, where he faces charges of financial misconduct and breach of trust. He has denied the accusations. And we have more coming up on the marketplace, including the announcement of a new policy rate by the central bank. Stay with us for details on that. But up next is sports with Baba Tando.